Now, since we have never done that, and I told you slavery maldistributed almost 100% of all this nation's wealth, power, resource, privileges, businesses, and controls of all levels of government into the hands of the dominant white society, well, look at what's happening. We never corrected it. And since we never corrected racism the way it started out, that means in this country right now that the average white person in America has 3,500 times more wealth than the average black person. Y'all didn't hear that, did you? Let me give it to you again. You cannot be equal when the average white person in this society has 3,500 times more wealth than the average black person. Even if you're a middle-class black in the $40,000 to $50,000 range, the white person has 800 to 900 times more wealth than you. If you're a black female, that means the white female has $1 for every 2 cents you have to run a household. Let me even be, since you all still don't understand this point. In America right now, where you think you're so equal in Baltimore, that you're so free, that you can spend all your time enjoying life and not worried about what's going to happen to you, in this society right now, American society, I got 2 white men. I got 2 white Americans alone that have more wealth than all 36 million black folk put together. If I take Ralph Ellison and Bill Gates, they got more wealth than all the black folk in America put together. Where is your equal opportunity? Where are you equal? What are we thinking about when it's wealth that decides what you own and control? Where are you equal? What are we thinking about when it's wealth that decides what you own and control, decides what freedom and opportunities you're going to have in this society? Now, you want to know what is wealth? Wealth is not income. Don't confuse wealth with income. Income is what you get to maintain you from one week to the other. Wealth is what you got left over after you paid your bills and stacked it up. Wealth is surplus labor. That's all wealth is. Wealth means somebody has labored and you stored it up and it has value on it. That's how whites were able to become rich and get all this wealth. That all those millions of blacks, the 5 million blacks they had enslaved, they never paid them. And when the European society sent whites to America, they said, go to America. They didn't say what the lies you hear nowadays about, well, whites came to America looking for religious freedom. No white person was that stupid. No white person getting on a ship, sailing for 4 months around the world to find some place to pray. They didn't come here looking for no religious freedom. They came here because the governments were saying, if you go to America, we will guarantee you, we will give you free land and free labor. And you would have to be an idiot not to be rich if we give you free land and free labor. And that's where the whole franchising system started. Like Burger King, McDonald's, that set up a restaurant for you. They give you all equipment and the menu and all the food, and you pay them for free. And they sent the people over here from Europe to inhabit America. They gave them soldiers. They gave them some money and told them the soldiers would protect you away from the Indians. And we give you some slaves. And what you got to do is raise the crop product, tobacco, indigo, rice, cotton, and send it back to Europe. And we'll pay you a fee. That's what it was all about. Everybody got a chance to get rich for black folk because we never understood what racism was. We still don't understand what racism is. So we got black folk right now in America, in this city, that try to speak out on issues affecting black folk. And as soon as they start saying, we're not going to take any more of this, you're mistreating us, somebody says, well, that black guy's racist. A black person cannot be a racist. Let me say that again so y'all didn't hear me. It is impossible under present conditions in this country and any place in the world for a black people to be racist. You don't have any wealth and power. You cannot control what white folks do. You cannot enslave white folks. You cannot tell them who they can marry and who they can't marry. You can't deny them an education. You can't make them pick cotton 6 days a week, 18 hours a day for you. You cannot be a racist. You can be bigoted and biased. And I hear that all the time. He's a Dr. Anderson, but I heard that black guy out the parking lot. He called that white guy redneck cracker. Isn't he a racist? No, he might be bigoted towards white people and poor whites, but he's not racist. That parking lot attendant can't do anything to white people. All he can do is talk. He cannot stop white folks from getting an education, from owning a business. And so what they've done now is confuse the issue of what racism is so that all black folk in America are paralyzed. They're scared to do anything. They won't speak up for themselves. They won't fight for themselves. They're scared somebody's going to call them a racist. They can't even be something somebody's called. And worse than that, you've allowed all the people you're competing with to also fall underneath that cover and declare they're just as bad off as you. That's why Hispanics and Arabs and Asians and humpbacks and lesbians and midgets all get into the affirmative action program. So you got to learn how to play the game. Now let's see what some other concepts now that you understand what racism is. Another concept is minority. Any black person in Baltimore, let somebody call him minority, you should cut him after you shoot him. That is an insult for somebody to call you, and for you to call yourself a minority, nobody's supposed to be that stuck on stupid, unless you got a stupid life. You live in a social democracy that was set up in 1789. The first law of Congress in 1789, we became a nation, says this is a white country. This is a white country, and the quota on black folk coming in is 0, unless he comes in as a slave. And the rule in a social democracy then is that the majority will win and rule, and the minority will lose and suffer. Why would you go around calling yourself a loser? I'm a loser, I'm a minority, and I'm suffering. Why would you do it? Why would you teach your children to call themselves a loser? And worse than that is in cities like Baltimore. Why would you in Baltimore be going around pushing the city to give you a minority set aside when you make up 65% of the population of the city? You are the majority. Nobody on earth is supposed to be that silly. I go to Detroit, Michigan, and I'm speaking to the legislature. They said, well, Dr. Anderson, before you talk, we will give you a plaque. And I said, no, before you give me a plaque, tell me what are you doing for black folks? They said, well, we got a 5% set-aside program downtown. I said, downtown where? They said in the Office of Minority Affairs. I said, the city is 90% black. Why are you calling black folk minorities in a city where they're the majority? Hey, somebody's elevator does not go to the second floor. Why do you keep calling yourself a minority and trying to get a minority program when you're the majority? So the one white woman on the city council said, well, Dr. Anderson, well, if you, what do you want to do? I said, in this city, the city council needs to pass a resolution saying that in this city, black people are the majority population. Once it's pointed out that you're the majority population, then it is against the law for other people coming in and rape and rob you through the government. Whites cannot come in there and take all the resources out. It's a violation of your rights. If you've had the city council in Baltimore to pass a resolution saying in this city, in Baltimore, we are a black city. That's 65% black. We are the majority population. Same thing in Washington, D.C. We have a 77% black population. They're giving black folk 4% of the resources. So what whites have been successful in doing is that they are the majority in the suburbs, and they're also the majority in the city, even though they don't live in it. Because black people won't stand up for their rights. And said, no, I don't want any minority program. I am the majority. And you sort of develop all these resources in this city for me. I should not have to come to Baltimore and find absolutely no black businesses up in the nation. Why am I go to Detroit, Michigan again as an example. Detroit, Michigan is a 90% black city. They got 146 gas stations in Detroit, Michigan. 146 gas stations in Detroit, Michigan. Arabs own 141 in a black city. In the black city of Detroit, Michigan. Arabs own not only the gas stations, they own the grocery stores, party stores, liquor stores. The Koreans in Detroit, they own the barbecue restaurants, the nail shops, the wig shops, the hair products, distributorship. The East Indians in Detroit, they own the rest of the business. They own the Dunkin' and Donuts, the cheap motels, the check cashing services. Blacks own nothing in a city where they're the majority population. I got 1 million black folk in Detroit that owns nothing. Now, what's the impact of that? That's why in the 2000 census, the United States government declared Detroit to be the 4th city in the United States with the highest crime rate. And everybody's sitting back in the black leadership say, oh, why are we so poor? You're poor because you're stuck on stupid. There is a direct relationship in this country between how many businesses you own and how poor you're gonna be as a group. Those groups that have no businesses are gonna be poor and in prison. It is not the government's responsibility to help you do anything. The government's responsibility and the police department's responsibility is to put you in jail and keep you out of the way. When you have a Katrina situation, which on one of my videos, I started talking about Katrina 7 to 8 years before it even happened. When you have a Katrina situation, which on one of my videos, I started talking about Katrina 7 to 8 years before it even happened. Almost 10 years before the big ever happened to Katrina. They got me crying on the video and they wouldn't take it out. But the video telling us what happened in that city. Because the poverty rate was so high, 82% poverty rate in New Orleans before Katrina even hit. And nobody was concerned and understand that if you don't have any businesses, you're gonna be poor. The reason black people are the poorest people in the United States is because we don't own businesses. Now watch this now. In this country, in America, the group with the highest income in America today are Asians. The median family income for an Asian in America is $55,000 for median family income. Y'all follow this along, so when long after I've left you this evening, you'll never forget this as long as you live. The median family income from an Asian is the highest in the United States at the end of the group, $55,000. Underneath them are whites. The median family income from a white person is about $53,000 to $54,000. The median family income for these Hispanics that you're also worried about and get them into the country are over black. They're at $32,000 and $33,000. The median family income for black people is $19,400. Now, why are black folk on the bottom in income? Here it is now. Asians got a $55,000 income, median family income over here. Here's why they got that income. 1 out of every 10 Asians are in business. Again, $55,000 income, they're at the top. 1 out of 10 are in business. Let's go down to the next level. You got whites now over here. Whites at $53,000 to $54,000 income in that general range. They got 1 out of every 34 in business. Hispanics got 1 out of 54 in business. Black folk at the bottom with 1 out of 104. If you don't have any businesses, you're going out of existence. Why is that now? It's because all you're doing is working for a living. We're the only people that encourage our children to go off and get a good education and go get a good job. No other group is that silly is tell their children, go off and get a good education, then go get yourself a good job working in a white company someplace. Everybody else tells their kids something different, and I'll explain to you with Chinese a little later. We're the only people that don't encourage our children to start businesses. If you go put your child into a job, or if you're working a job, you got to understand the purpose of a job. The purpose of a job is not to enrich you. You cannot get rich working a job. The only way you get rich working a job is if you're good at stealing. A job is designed to maintain you. A job is designed to keep you one way from the welfare lines, unemployment, and food stamps. You work a job until you get too old and they retire you, and you got to go out and beg on the street. You might get lucky to give you a silver watch. A business will redistribute wealth and power to you 8 times faster. If you have a business, you can also get a salary, but you can also get capital gains. You can also get depreciation. You can get appreciation. You got all kind of tax loopholes. You can write off all kind of things on your business, against your business. You can do all kind of things. The system is set up where those who don't have businesses pay all the taxes. Winn-Dixie had about 500 stores one year when I was over education in the state of Florida. I looked at the record. They had about 526 stores in the United States. Winn-Dixie, like Safeway, 126 stores. And that thing one year they only paid $9 in taxes. They got all kinds of loopholes, flip backs, take backs, and everything else to make sure they don't pay any taxes. You work at a job, you got nothing you can write off except your interest payment on your house and your taxes on your house. That's it. The rest of your money is going to take care of the rest of this country. And we're the only people who have no businesses. Black folk are paying more than their share of taxes because we are so silly we won't start businesses. Now, let me go to another issue. If you start businesses, what must you do? How do you start those businesses? I put all that in POWERNOMICS. Start businesses at this late game. It's too late for you just to simply go into a business. It is too late to simply go into a business randomly say, well, I'm going to start a business. I don't see any flower shops on the street, so I'm going to start a flower shop. It ain't going to cut it. Now, at this point, doors almost closed on us in this country. If you're going to go into a business, you must go into a business where you have a competitive advantage. You must be able to tell me or somebody, the reason I'm going into this business is because I have a competitive advantage over my competitors. And I'll ask you, what are your competitive advantages? You must build your business around 2 things. Wherever your people dominate in population, or wherever your people dominate in spending patterns. That's how you go into business. And if you unify yourselves, you got a chance. If you don't, you're through. Now you hear people talking about Dr. House, we should go into business because we got a $700 billion annual disposable income. You're right. They said we're the 9th richest nation on earth. You're right. Black people in America's annual disposable income is higher than Sweden, Pakistan, India, North Korea, South Korea, Vietnam, and all the African countries put together. But we're the poorest people in the country because we do not practice group economics. Everybody on earth practices group economics but us. Again, POWERNOMICS talks about all this stuff. So does black labor, white wealth. Everybody practices group economics but us. Now, what is group economics? Group economics means you must learn how to pool your resources in a vertical way and buy from your own people up and down a chain. Just that simple. It says nothing, you don't have to love all black folk, you don't have to be kissing on them and hugging on them, but you should support them and buy from them. We won't do it. Now in group economics, the rule is this. Your money is supposed to bounce 8 to 12 times before it leaves your hands. It's supposed to bounce 8 to 12 times before it leaves your hands or leaves your race. That means that if you got $1 in your pocket right now, that dollar should go to another black person and another black person, another black person, another black person, another black person, another black person. So it passes through 8 to 12 times before it leaves to go to a non-black hand. In America, Hispanic money bounces 6 to 7 times. Hispanics in America right now that you're all competing with, they spend their money their own 6 to 7 times before it leaves a Hispanic hand. White money bounces 8 to 12 times. Arab and Asian money bounces 13 to 14 times. Jewish money bounces 18 times. Black money doesn't bounce once. As soon as a black person gets paid, he'll run over you trying to get to a non-black business and finish. As soon as it is right now, if you're out the street, every black dollar right now in Baltimore is going into a non-black hand right now. You're committing suicide. Every time you fail to spend your money with your own people, not only have you failed to practice group economics, but you flush $11 down the toilet. When you leave here right now and you go out there, you stop at the gas station, and you buy $1 worth of gasoline, which is about a thimbleful about like that. You buy $1 worth of gasoline, you just threw $11 down the toilet. It didn't go to a black hand. Anytime you put your money in another group's hands, you are aiding them in wiping you out. Now, if you're going to practice group economics,